welcome back to Golf Training Hacks. Hey, do you ever have some lower back stiffness or soreness? Maybe from a long round of golf, maybe you're sitting too much, working around the house, doing some exercise. A lot of reasons for it. A lot of us have had it. So let's talk about some ways to reduce that lower back stiffness and pain. Now, I'm not talking about serious injuries and situations like, herniations. I'm just talking about some generalized lower back stiffness and pain that you get after everyday activities, or as I said, like after a round of golf. One of the rules that we use at Golf Training Hacks is if you have pain, you don't want to necessarily work where the pain is. You want to work above it and below it. So if you have some lower back stiffness and pain, it could be because the whole system, your back and your hips are tight and tense, and that's sending tension into your lumbar spine. So one of the places we can relieve some of the tension in your lumbar spine is your lat muscle. Now the lat is a big muscle, and it's a really important muscle for movement. It's also a muscle that is attached to your hip and right up into your arm. So it can really influence the way your hip moves, and if it influences the way your hip moves, it can influence the way your lower back moves. It also has attachments all up and down your back. So it's really important to get that supple and pliable so that it's not really yanking on your hips and your lower back. So all you need is a roller. And what you can do is just lay on this roller. Okay, here's my last rib, my bottom rib. I'm going to start here. Now remember, we're not going down into the lumbar spine where, let's say, the stiffness is. We're going to work above it today. So I'm right on just about a little bit above that last rib. Now, as you know, when we're doing releases, we're always talking about breathing. So let's do some nasal breathing. If you've been with Golf Training Hacks for a while, we recommend highly to breathe in and out through your nose all day long. It's the way you were meant to breathe as a human. It does a lot of good things for your health, and it also induces that deep diaphragmatic breathing that is a parasympathetic signal to your brain that everything's okay. So when you're doing stretching or mobilizations or these releases, you want to be sending signals that the situation you're in, the position you're in, is okay. It's not a stressor, and it's going to help you be more effective when you're mobilizing. If not, you're going to be sending the wrong signal that this is a stressor, like breathing through your mouth up into your chest, and that's going to send a stress signal into your brain, and that's not going to help it release and mobilize. So let's go. I'm going to take a deep breath in, and I exhale. As I exhale, I'm just letting the weight of my body sink into this area of the lat. And maybe there's a trigger point there. It might hurt, so just breathe. If you breathe and put some pressure on muscles, and there's a trigger point of stiffness, the muscle will eventually release to the stiffness, okay? But you got to spend time on it. Now I'm just spending a few seconds on this as a demonstration, but you need to spend time. So you can breathe into the position, or you can roll across the area that's stiff. And again, we're trying to go slowly. Now what I'm going to do is I am actually going to pull myself this way towards the wall, so that I'm kind of scrunching up that skin and lat muscle. And now I'm going to roll towards you, nice and easy, breathing. Now, when I'm forward, I'm going to push myself towards you, tightening up that skin and muscle tissue, and roll back, nice and easy, and breathe. So I'm going to push back and roll forward. I'm going to push to you and roll back. So what I'm doing is I'm creating more tension in the muscles and the surface areas like the skin to get a little more sensation in there. Okay, now you don't have to do that. You could just roll back and forth like this. But the idea is you don't want to be spending too little time here, and you certainly don't want to be rushing and rolling back and forth. Now you don't have to go all the way across. Now I'm actually forward onto my ribs here. You could just stay back here. Let's move it to, I'll go a little higher now. So you could actually just be on that lat, breathe into it, All right, that's one way. You could just stay here and just kind of roll to the rib and then back. And you can also use that tightening method. So I'm gonna pull back, and I'm just gonna make a smaller motion. I'm gonna push to you, and I'm gonna roll back, okay? And you have to breathe when you do it. So the lat's a big muscle, it's a big influencer. It attaches to your arm and into your hip. It has influence on your hips and on your lumbar spine. If your hips don't work right, your lumbar spine is going to be affected, and if your lumbar spine is not in the right position, your hips will be affected. So that's one way to begin to reduce some stiffness in your lower back.